Very much welcome tonight. It's good to have you people here again. And I hope you are excited as I'm excited. Every time I go through my own notes, I read it as, I wondered if I ever seen this, because when I read it, it makes me so excited, I thought, have you ever known this truth, because every time you read it, it's like it stirs you again and again, why? Because it is eternal truth. It is not like, 1 plus 1 is 2, if I constantly tell you 1 plus 1 is 2, then you say, listen, I know, I've got a message, 1 plus 1 is 2, But God's principles in the Bible, you can read it all over again and again and again, and every time you read it and you see it, you become excited. Why? Because it's alive. It's something that every time you experience it and see it, you just learn more out of it. You just see a different aspect or something more in it. Because that is what the life is all about that God has designed for us. It is not a dull life. It is not like, let's see, let's experiment, let's try something on earth. No, it is really an exciting life where you can stand up in the morning and you can really look forward to the day. And if you don't look forward to the day, I know some days it's got more problems in it than other days, or maybe colder or whatever. That's natural. But deep in your heart, you have to be excited about tomorrow. And the biggest thing that has stolen that excitement from us is our financial situations. Because we want to live something, but we can't pay it. And gradually we just put this stuff away, we bury our dreams, and because there's no money. But later on we find out it's not because there's not money, it's because I haven't designed a plan for this whole thing that was given to me. Because I am the person that must execute the dream that God has put in my heart. God's not going to execute it for me. He's not going to tell me what to do. It's like I always say, it's like this pastor that's visiting this farmer, and yes, and everything is just running so fine there, on the farm, the tractors and the dairy and everything, and the pastor walks with him and look at all this stuff, and he said, my brother, says the pastor, I just want to tell you, God has done a great thing here. It is incredible what God has done here for you. And the farmer stops, you look at the pastor, he said, listen, you don't understand. You don't understand. It is not God has done something great here. I have done it myself. When I came here and God was farming alone, there was nothing going on. Absolutely nothing. You see, it was since I came and I activated stuff. There was a dairy, there was a house built, we planted some maize and whatever. It's since I came here. You see, now who are right and who are wrong? You see, God is the one that gives us the farm and the air and the rain and the infrastructure, if you can say it like that, and the seed and whatever. But we must use it and start to organize it and decide, okay, this is going to be we're going to plant there, we're going to build a house there, we're going to put the cows there, you built yourself the thing. It is a cooperation between you and God. God doesn't bring the harvest, you bring the harvest. Why? Because you need to plant something. There's naturally not a natural harvest in any country. Someone have to plant it, yes. But of course you see that God has given us the potential in terms of the process that if you plant a seed and there's water and light and this stuff, then it will develop and there will be fruit to it and so forth. You see, God has given us everything in terms of the stuff that we need, but we need to go out and do something with it. When people arrived here in South Africa, there was still nothing. People had to create something. They had to start to live creative, think out what we're going to do, how we're going to do. There was nowhere a house, and there was no Airbnb around here or anything. You had to build the place where you want to sleep and whatever. Okay, so tonight the first one we do tonight is relationships. Relationships is a very, very important aspect. We've already said, and it's very important, that the two rails of a train in life is the relationship rail and the money rail. What is the rail? Is it rails? Yeah. The rail where the train is running on. The tracks, that's the right word. The two tracks of life is relationship and money. Because that's the two systems that God has given us. God has given us a family system in which we package people with relationships. Then we have a sort of, let's say tonight, a business system wherein we package things with money and logistical admin and structures and systems. And you must win both. You know, I was raised in a background, you know, that, okay, I'm a full-time minister, so I'm a priest, you know, I'm in a family world, you know. Luckily, I'm not like you know, I'm full-time for the Lord, you know, but every time I go to the shop, you know, unfortunately, they still ask me money. You know, I can't get away from it, you know. Every time, wherever I go, money is involved. Till I realize, listen, it is not either or, it's both. Yes, you just have different phases in your life. You start out, you know, you're born in a family, then you most probably, when you leave school, you know, you work 8 hours a day for long, but then you need to become financially wise, to invest and to go to a place where you can redeem some time again so that you can spend more time with family, till the point where you can become financially free and you've made enough money so that you can actually spend all your time in the family world, of just maintaining some stuff, investments this side. It's not a question of, but although you're not any longer working in the financial world, you still live there because you buy there. You go there, you need some stuff and everything. You never escape it. It is just where you spend your time will differ. And you're supposed in life to work less and earn more. Otherwise you're on the wrong track. You know, it's not supposed to work harder and get less money, or yes, we get more money, but it gets worse and worse and worse. Because the most precious thing you need to buy out in your life is time. No one gets more time than 24 hours. Time is our most precious commodity that we have. Except that we have eternal life and this stuff, you know, but on earth, naturally, time is the most precious thing. You know, you have only X amount of time. You have 240 salaries on average that you have to retire. If you work 40 years. So you need to make a plan. You need to make something, because by just having a salary is not going to make you have maybe have a pension. Especially we're not in the old days any longer when the government makes sure that you have a pension and this stuff. Nowadays pensions are phasing out, you know. But the point is, you need to make a plan with your time, with your energy and anything. You are the manager of your life. And the problem we've said in the Garden of Eden was, number one, that people mismanage the garden. By mismanage God's what He said, He's mismanaged whatever His time, yourself and whatever. Everything in life comes out of mismanagement, in not having a plan and managing myself in the plan up to a certain point. As I told you here, you know, I was living for many years, married, what was it, 12, 13 years I was married, and the sole possession was few furniture and a car. And then after the second 12 years, after we've made a plan, we could accumulate lots of assets, if you can say it like that, that could make us financially free in 12 years. Now what's the difference? The difference is that we sat there and said, listen, we must wake up somewhere. Life is not just going to happen for you. You must make life happen for you. It's my responsibility. I realized that I'm not supposed to get to work for money for the rest of my life. Money is supposed to start to work for me. Yes, you start out where you work for money and for a salary, but you need to get to an end to the salary thing. You need to go to a place where you get financially free and you get paid every day of your life. Why do you want to only get paid on the end of the month if every day of the month you can get paid? I don't get an amen there, but you know, it's a good one to remember. You know, and I thought about these things and say, but listen, we can live in a different life. I don't need to stay in this. I can design the life I want to live in, but I must first find my own identity. It is just not going to sit there, okay, it's nice to have a car and a boat and, you know, just have 10 nice things. Yeah, that's nice things, but we can never live for the thing. The money is always only a means to an end. We must live for the end, and then we must get a plan for the means, and then when the means is in the right place, you will get to the right point. The moment you make money, the end. My purpose is to accumulate 10 million. That's not a plan. That's not a plan, because no person was sent to accumulate a certain amount of money because he's going to stay here. You're going to die with 10 million in the bank. So what, you know, it's fine, but the next generation will have some profit out of it. What do you want to live? Get an estimation or a budget of what it's going to cost. Yes, and if it's going to cost 10 million, let's go and get the 10 million. Yes, and it's beautiful if you can leave something for the next generation and help them to be financially free themselves and so. But the point is that money is a means to an end. But listen clearly, you will never come to the end if you don't have the means. That's enormously important. You know, I always read these people on Facebook, and I feel sometimes I can whatever them, you know, when they post things like, you know, if you have to make a decision between money and happiness, what will you decide? I mean, you're not supposed to make a decision between money and happiness. You know why? Because money is supposed to make you happy. The purpose of money is to make you happy. Listen, go and look how happy are people without money. Go and live under this tree for the next week without food, without car, without the toilet, without the bed, without the shelter, you know, without water, and then we'll see how happy you are. You know, because God wants to give you money to get you some stuff that can look after you, your body, your soul, and your spirit. That's what money is all about. Money makes people happy, but the thing that money cannot do is that money cannot satisfy you. Money can make your body and your soul happy, but it's a temporary thing. You know, you eat, you feel very well, but next morning you need another plate of food. Because it's always temporary, it needs to be repeated all the time. You need to buy more food, more what? You need to pay for the house every month and for the water and lights. It never stops. Because happiness is very expensive. You need to pay constantly. But for sure, if you have the money, it's nice. So, guess what? Get the money and get it over. So that the end of the month is no longer this threat that's coming to you every month. You know, where you're just being threatened by this accounts and whatever. Sort it out once and for all. Get yourself sponsors that wants to pay for you. I mean, I'm paying such amount, big amount of... If I look tonight at my, what is it? I mean, I'm paying at least 100,000 to the municipality in municipal services. You know, that's my municipal account. But you know, I pay down 1 rand of it. Because I've got lots of people that stand and wants to pay my accounts for me. And you know, I've solved it. I said, I want no longer to pay a municipal account. Yes, I've got a big account, but I'm no longer going to pay it. I'm going to get people to pay it. So I no longer have worried any month what is the municipal account any longer, because it's paid before the month is dead. I've made a plan. I said I must get some stuff off my budget. Because when you get to budget, you'll see that's the most worst thing you will ever face in life. It's a budget. You know, because it never works out. But you can do something about it. You can scrap things from your budget. I don't have municipal accounts on my budget. I don't have the most things people have on their budget. I don't have on my budget because it's over. It's been paid now forever. I just need to remember them to pay, and then I move the money over to the right accounts. Why? You can do something about it. You can become financially free. You can make a plan. A nice plan. I know it sounds very selfish what I'm talking about, but it's not selfish. Because when I later tell you what's the plan, you know, we'll see it's the biggest deal I'm doing for people. They're standing in lines for that deal. Why? Because they can't get a better deal from anyone else. Because I'm serving them. In a certain sense, if you can say it like that. But in the whole process, it's all about people. It's about relationships. I've got a person in my life that's told me this tremendous lie, you know, that fortunately in business there's no people involved. I said to him, listen, we had scrapped all over, you know, because he had to do a deal with me. We had the agreement for the deal, and when the deal came, the first deal, you know, we were in trouble because he changed. He said, no, I must get more than you. I said, but at the end of the day, he said, but don't feel personal because there's no people involved here. He said, but I don't understand, you know, who are we and you? Yeah, but it's a deal, it's a deal. There's no people involved here, it's a deal. There's no people involved. You know, you can never move on earth and people are involved. People, that's the fact. And if you do not have an honoring on relationships and people, you will always battle in life. Because you cannot become this person that just walk and trade on people and misuse them and whatever for the sake of making money out of them. It's going to backfire on you somewhere along the line. I mean, most people tell me, the agents tell me the worst sin you can do in being an agent for a house is don't have a relationship with your tenant. I told them the best reason why I have maybe a 1% loss a year is because I have a relationship with my tenant. Because I believe in having a relationship with them. They are like my family. They know they are important for me. I treat them with respect. I don't like it when their geyser are burst and they don't have warm water. It's not for me like, you know, it's important for me that we get solved quickly. Why? Because they are important people in my life. And because they are important people, they all rent from me 10 years and longer. They don't want to move. They say, listen, you're going to buy a place. When I want another house that's bigger than this, I'm going to tell you, you're going to buy the place and I rent from you. I'm not moving. I'll die in one of your houses. Why? Because they know they are very important for me. I treat them, you know, I give them the, what is it, I preference, voordeel van die twyfel, what is that in English? The benefit of the doubt, you know. I treat them like real decent people because they deserve it to be treated like decent people. You know, yes, and if something is wrong, we talk straight. I mean, that's it, because business is business. But at the end of the day, we must understand that relationship is enormously important. I've seen many people make a lot of money, and then they get to a point where they don't, you know, what is skip of they neglect their relationships, you know, and then they're out of their wife, they're out of their children, they're out of the family, and then you hear they're out of their money, because these stuff are running together, you know, because at the end of the day, in relationship, you need energy to live life. In you, there is what we call, and we call it an emotional tank. Your passion is an emotional tank. To execute something, you need an emotional energy. To live in a relationship needs emotional energy. You know, how do you feel when your boyfriend tells you, you know, you look good, you know, I think it's all right, you know. I mean, you'll say, listen, go. You know, but when someone says, yo, you look so beautiful, man, it is wonderful. You know, you need to put some energy in the thing. I mean, you might mean it, but you know, your emotions need to show it. You need to have emotional energy, because all our relationships, very important, are lived with emotion. Not with mind and will. Lived with emotion. When you read the Bible and say we must get rid of all this stuff, then the Bible says it is jealousy and hatred and anger and whatever. It's emotions. The stuff that goes wrong in relationship is the emotions. Emotions is the weakest thing to build on. But emotions is the strongest influence that you can have. Because life is made for us to be emotionally about stuff. You know, to get excited about things. You know, you can really like the person, but if there's no emotion behind it, I'll tell you that relationship will not last. That's it. Because that was why emotions was given. You can build nothing on emotion, but you can build nothing without emotion. You cannot build on emotion, because emotions fluctuate, but you cannot build without it. I mean relationships and whatever you do. You cannot be this dull and boring guy, and you know, you just say nothing, you never talk, you never compliment anyone, you're just this, what is it, you know, no one knows what's going on type of person. I mean, people like working with people that honor them, that's excited, you know, that treat them well and whatever. But yes, we need to be, but people like an atmosphere, because our emotions create an atmosphere. Just, I suffered to start myself tonight. You know, we once at a house with young people, and in this house there was a bowl or something with a goldfish in it. And then, because of all the busyness in the house, they forget to feed the goldfish for 1 month. Oh. Guess what happened to the goldfish? Nothing. It never died. But if you took that goldfish out of that bowl and you put it on the table, how long it will take for that goldfish to die? More or less 10 minutes. You know, what's the lesson in it? The lesson in it is that, you know, in the church world you say, we must feed you the right stuff, the right theology. Yes, it's important. You must get feeding. That's not the point. But listen, there's something that's more important than your feeding, and that's your atmosphere. And the atmosphere of the goldfish is the water, and he needs food, otherwise he will die, I can tell you. But let me tell you, you can go longer without feeding than you can go without atmosphere. The atmosphere of man is relationships. You are a product of relationship. You were raised in relationship. You were raised for relations, and you were raised to be in relationships. That is what life is all about. Man is in his deepest being a relational being. You've got a heart that can connect with another heart. That's what relationship is all about. Whatever is flowing, you can talk about, but we can connect with each other. We can talk with each other. We can flow. Life can flow from one person to another. That's what the relationship basically is all about. And if you stop flowing, don't expect to become rich, because the people that will bring you the money, or the place where you will get the money, is other people. Banks not just, there's no machine that gives money out, something happen and someone gives you money for a service, for a whatever, or something, you sell them a book or whatever. That's what business is all about. It's that people believe in people. You are number one, the product of the product that you are selling. If you don't even believe yourself in your product, if people cannot see the product in you, how will they buy the product? Now, if you are not even persuaded, if you are not even, what is it? Don't go there. There's too many things. But the most important thing is, it's about relationships. Relationships is extremely important. It is our atmosphere we're living in. And there are basically 7 relationships that in our lives. Number 1, there is the relationship with God. Now that is supposed to be the most important relationship. Why? Because God is the origin of everything. He's the source of everything. Now we can go on a long time into everything, but I just mention it. So why is God important? Because He's the source, He's the origin, He's your identity and everything. Number 2, relationship is your relationship with yourself. And that is supposed to be the most difficult relationship, to be quite honest. Because every morning you see yourself there and you've got all the files of that person. No one else got all the files except you and God. And you like it to visit all the old files and you talk with that person. You've got a self-talk. And you most probably, as most people, they battle to live with that person. Because they are very disappointed about that person. They think this person is not okay, I'm not saying this is necessarily in your life. That's on average. Why? The relationship may become the most difficult relationship. Because you want to do some stuff and then the inner voice in you say, no, you're not qualified, it's not going to work, you don't have enough money, your history is wrong, your family is wrong. And your inner self-talk is talking to you, not necessarily the truth, but it becomes a problem. But you must win it. If you can't win that one, that's what we talk about, number 1, you need to find your identity of this person. Because this person is the captain of your ship. And if you can't make peace with this captain, you're going to have problems. Because how can you trust the captain to take this ship to a certain place if you don't even know the captain? You can't even talk to him and you can't even like him, and you're shy about him and everything. You can't even, present this captain in a decent way and say, but listen, I am capable of doing this for you and this is my business, we can do it. And not talking nonsense, but knowing I can present myself and I can be proud about myself, what I know I am all about. So this is a very difficult one. Because we shy away from this person, but we live with him 24 hours a day. The third one is your spouse. That's supposed to be the best and the nicest relationship in the world. If it's not so, you must recalculate. You must find out what's wrong, and the wrong doesn't lie in you or in her. The wrong lies in the relationship. Listen people, it's very important. Sin does not lie in things. Sin lies in a relationship with a thing. I mean, I can have some petrol here on the table, and everyone will say, okay, it's petrol, we can smell it, But no one will think it's wrong, But the question is, what is your relationship with that petrol? Do you put it in the car or do you put it in your mouth? There's nothing wrong with alcohol. Just tell me, what's your relationship with alcohol? There's nothing wrong with women. What's your relationship with women? Nothing in life is in essence wrong. What is your relationship with that thing? Because whatever is in life, God has created. I mean, all type of drugs are sort of in life, if you can say it like that, because the potentiality to make it is there. But that does not say you must put it in your mouth. That doesn't say you must inject yourself with it. What is your relationship? Sin lies in a wrong relationship. Because there is an emptiness in me that's not filled by God, that's living in my own identity, if you can say it like that. So I'm always trying to add to myself from the outside. If I can just go on this point quickly before we go back to the 7 relationships. One of the most important things you need to get to life is you must stop being impressed by money. If you have found your own identity, you will no longer be impressed by money. You know, you come to a place and you hear, this guy is 100 million guy. You know, suddenly your attitude changed. Everything changed. Why? Because you are impressed by the 100 million. But listen, you are so expensive that all the assets in the whole world is not enough to buy you. That's how valuable you are. And now you stand in the presence of a guy that's got 100 million in the bank and you think, oh, you're so impressed by it. Yes, it's impressed. 100 million is 100 million. But listen, why does it change your attitude towards this person? Why do you handle this person now differently from this person? They same value. Yes, I must treat this guy for a guy that's got 100 million, but I'm not supposed to be impressed by money. Because money is figures. It's only zeros and zeros and zeros and zeros. And yes, 100 million is not 10 million and 10 million is not 1 million. It's true. We must be honest about it. But don't be impressed by it. Because it's only a means to an end. Because lots of people have lots of money, but when I get to know them, I say to myself, you're living for nothing. You're living with nothing. You've got everything in the world, but there's nothing in your life. I mean, I got to know a guy like that in Stellenbosch, he was so rich, I couldn't believe it when I got to know him. I prayed for him and then the Lord healed him and I got to know him, I became a friend of him. He was so rich, but he was so poor. He was staying in the, in the buitekamer, outer building of his house to save power. With no ceiling and nothing, I couldn't believe it, how poor, how nothing this person is living for. And he was one of the richest people in Stellenbosch. I couldn't believe it. But of course, he had a lot of money. But the point is, I am impressed with you. Yes, and you need to get impressed with yourself. Because if you are not impressed with yourself, you will not be able to mine the money that is in you. Because to get 100 million, you can maybe inherit it from someone, but to get it out of you, you need to get impressed with, listen, I'm a person that is a valuable person, I'm unique, I'm special, I'm sent for a time like this, I've got this certain roles that I need to fulfill, I'm going to live it for myself, I'm not going to take, I'm not in competition with anyone else, I'm going to be what I am, and my creative purpose is financed in me. And when I die, people will not be impressed with how much money I have. They will be impressed by the life that I live. And it's the biggest tragedy in life to have all the money and living nothing. Because the money cannot make you anything. Yes, it's not that 100 million is not 100. It is a lot of money. But listen, what does it help to have 100 million and no plan, no life, no tomorrow to look forward, no nothing to live for? It's not. And what do we live for? We live for relationships. We begin in the family world. We go and make the means in the business world to come back to the family world to reinvest in people, because that's where satisfaction is in. The only way to get satisfied is to find your identity in Christ. The only way to stay satisfied is to give it to other people. But to give it to other people, you need money. Because you need to go to them, you need to visit them, you sometimes need to help them in terms of whatever, building something, get some whatever, life is everywhere you face it, there's money involved. And it will never change, so stop worrying about it, just win it. And get it over. That life is expensive, it will always be expensive, and it will be more expensive. Get your focus on the right place and say, listen, whatever I'm going to need to live, this is what it is, this is the plan, I'm going to make the money and then I'm going to live the scene. And I'm even going to leave a lot of money. Do you know that the average person on earth consumes around about 7 million in their lifetime? 2 million up to up to more or less the year 1820. So you need to be very thankful to your father because you are a 2 million project, you know. And then the guy comes around and he just wants to marry you, you know what I mean? It's like giving him an Audi R8, you know. Oh, there's the R8, you know, 2 million doesn't matter, you know. Oh, no. That's a very expensive project, children. It takes 2 million to get them to 20. You know, and then they live another 4 million in their lives, you know. So but you know, the point is, don't be impressed by the 7 million. The point is, that is life. And I remember every time, you know, we heard Marianne's pregnant, we said, oh, there's another 2 million on the budget. You know, just get it in your mind, you know, it's like a shock, you know, but we need to find another 2 million. But luckily I also believe that the Bible says that the man is not the breadwinner. Every child comes with his own bread basket. You just need to find the basket. That's also true. Otherwise, we would have sinned long ago in our lives. so that's another story for another day. But the point is that, you know, get over the thing that it cost a lot. Yes, it cost a lot. I remember walking in Israel and there was a painting. Look, it was beautiful. And I asked the guy, what's the price? He said it was $15,000. I thought, you know, oh, this is so expensive. He looked at me and said, my friend, this is not expensive. It's just you that cannot afford it.
That's a way.
You what?
It's just you that cannot afford it. I said, there's many people that's going to buy it. And I realized, you know, that's true. You know, where am I positioning myself? That doesn't say I must buy the painting. But it's the buying of the painting, if it's really in your creative purpose, you will get there. You will make a plan to get there. The point is not the painting, the point is not the price. The point is, you know, where are you in your life? Do you need it or you do not need it? Because if you really believe you need it, I tell you, you will get it. Because the issue for God is never the price. It's never all this stuff. It is you. It is you and me that's got a poverty mentality that say, oh yes, but it's going to cost so much money to have these children and live this life. Everything is going to cost some money, man. I mean, stop mentioning it even. I mean, I'm so sick when people tell me, you know, we cannot have more children because children is so expensive. I say, man, where do you get that rubbish from? Everything in life is expensive, man. Just make peace with it, you know, because God will help you in the process. I mean, if we had to, if you have to budget or had to get children for according to our budget, we'd never have even children, man. I mean, we never had enough. But the point is, we said, God, you said it, you give it, so we're going to find the money, and we found the money. Don't make an issue about the money, because the money is not the issue. There's enough money on the outside for everything in this world. The problem is they're busy tricking you in stealing your money. And you must get to know the systems that's busy stealing your money. And you must find the keys in life, the 10 steps that's actually keys that open up your life for the provision that was already given for your life. Because it is not a scarcity of money out here. There is not a scarcity. There's an enormous amount of money. We can let the whole world live on the military budget of the world. We can live them for free. Now tell me, do you think it's not enough money? It's only the military budget. I mean, we're just shooting it and killing each other with it, so we can at least just give food and houses for people. We could. But because of selfishness, we need to kill each other with the money.
And relationships.
And relationships.
Yeah.
So this world is an enormous rich place. It's only being manipulated by people and systems. And you need to find out how they do it and counteract them. And make sure, because you're not going to change the system. I looked today on internet, I got an email of the 10 biggest companies in our country, of which I think about 7 is banks. Why? Because banks is ruling our whole world. Banks is ruling. And you're not going to change banks, let me tell it to you. But you need to find out what is the key why banks can do what they do. We'll get to that. And if you find that key, you can turn the thing around and you can use the bank strategy for yourself against the bank. But you need to get some savvy up here. You need to understand what's going on around here. Because the bank is busy fooling us, man. I mean, the people, they create recessions and stuff and whatever, where they move the money around and they, you know, and they get rewarded by the government by bailing out money. And they've created the problem, and then they get paid for creating the problem. The people, we must get awake. Most people are poor on earth because the system is milking you. The system is not making out of rich and wealthy people, especially wealthy people. They don't want you to get wealthy. And the way you get wealthy is by start using your mind, knowing what's going on here. Knowing how can you stop the outflow of money out of your life. And the first thing to stop the outflow of money is stop the outflow of your energy. Stop having relationships that's draining you. That's draining all your energy. You know, you can have a plan as big as this, but if you don't have the energy for this, and you have a quarrel with everyone in your life, you know, and tomorrow you're just an angry person, you will not be able to live your life. Because wealth creators are proactive people. They are not fighting for anything. They're just making progress. They're just making plans and more plans and more plans, and they just got something. No government will ever rule a wealth creator. Why? Because he's just too clever. He's living out of wisdom. He's not living out of an economy. He's always a step ahead because he's always living out of the creativity of his own heart. Because as one guy said, you know, you don't invest with money. You invest with your mind. You invest by looking at the world and how can you do something, you know, that's, you know, like beginning a WhatsApp, having 60 people working for you but selling it for 18 billion, huh? I mean, oh goodness, it was only an idea when it started, only an idea. There's lots of those ideas, but you must believe that there is an idea in you that can make money. That's already paid for, not can make money, that's already paid for. Find the idea, find the originality of what is in you. That's where life becomes extremely nice. Where you start to give the pace in life. It's no longer the bank that attack you with all these debit orders and whatever, but you in front, you know, you in front of them. They can't get you into a corner. Okay, so your third relationship is your spouse. That's the best partner that will help you to get rich. She's actually for free. It's a 2 million present from your father-in-law. And let me tell you, that is the best partner that can help you to become financially free. Then there is extended family. It's the bigger family, your children and, you know, more maybe the family-in-law or whatever, you know, the wider family. Because children leave, they marry and whatever, all these things. You don't know it, but let me tell you this. The biggest revelation that I had in Moneywise was that the biggest key to wealth creation and wealth preservation is family. It's the biggest key to wealth creation and wealth preservation is the way family lives. That is the biggest key. You won't believe it. 93% of the biggest companies in the world are still owned by families, and about half of them are still run by families. Because family is the key to wealth creation in this world. 93% of all businesses are started by families that's got originality and creativity in them. Family is our biggest key. You must protect it with everything that's in you. We don't live with the thing like we just want to get you out of the house, you know, get you on your own, get out of my pocket, you know. Yes, maybe that's a good thing in a certain sense, but we must keep the relationships and keep working together. Because we need to work up momentum in the family for generation to generation to generation. Because the key to financial freedom and wealth creation is generations. The richest man in the world is not at the moment, well it differs, you know, suddenly that guy, whatever. The real richest man in the world is the Duke of Westminster. Go and Google him. You can't believe it, man. But they can't say he's the richest man because all his stuff is in trusts. But he's got the enormous amounts of trust right all over the world. I mean, every second house along that Thames River is his. He's now 26, 7 years old. His father died 3 or 4 years ago. You know, but he did nothing to get there. He got it through generational inheritance. Because there's about, I don't know how many generations in front of him, and everyone just inherit the parcel, and all that you need to do is, live out of it and make it bigger. But you've got there's no issue like around here, how am I going to pay my bills, can I really buy another car, is it possible to do this project? No man, do whatever is possible. Because everything is already here. Just make it bigger and bigger. The world of the wealth creator, we will get to that, is an enormous, beautiful world. I tell you, the people that impress me the most in this world is wealth creators. It is incredible. Okay, the next one is your next relationship is with finances, number 5. You have a relationship with your finances. Finances can contribute a lot to your happiness, but it cannot make you satisfied and finally everything. But finances is involved everywhere, in all relationships. Then it's your friends and the community. Friends is the people that's like-minded values and whatever. The community is people that's in the community, but we don't always like each other. We don't see together. We don't always get along together. But we've got a responsibility because they're part of community. Okay. So we've already said we need emotional energy to live. And make sure that this emotional energy does not leak out along the way. The 7 essential subjects I always tell people that you need to investigate. The first 3 is the most important. You need to study God. The best book that we've wrote upon it is called The Father Heart of God. You need to know God's heart. Number 2, you need to know yourself. You need to know, how am I working? Spirit, soul and body, personality, gifts and talents and all this stuff. Who am I? Identity-wise. Then the relation between God and man, things went wrong, and then there was a redemption. How does redemption work? That is what we're doing at the moment on Tuesday evenings in the course, The Mystery. How do redemption work? Most people do not know how do redemption work. It's a big problem. And they're constantly fighting the battle with sin and the problem. Well, the problem is totally solved. Already before the foundation of the world, they're still battling the same problem. And they never get to who they are. Because that's the plan of the enemy. It's keeping you busy with religion. Telling you you're nothing. You've got a problem. You need to make a contribution. You're not going to get there, And so he keeps you busy with your past forever, not knowing that it was even solved. The sin problem was solved before it happened. Interesting. Then there's the 2 tracks that we've said, the track of relationship and the track of money. And most of this stuff, we've got on the internet. You can go and look there at lifewise.co.za. All the courses are there. And then maybe 6 and 7, is most people marry and have children. So make sure you know what marriage is all about and raising children. Although if the first 5 is sorted out, your chances are very good that number 6 and 7 will work. Okay, man lives out of his identity, and we've said the 2 pillars are the 2 tracks are this money thing and this relationship thing. You need to regain your emotional energy. Just closing down on this thing to say, you must get to a point where you draw a line. The past is the past. You must come to a point where you say, listen, if I've drawn a line at the past, you never go back there in your mind. You never go back there with your mouth. Never, never, never. Otherwise, you haven't drawn a line. Because 80% of all human energy is spent on the past. In trying to sort out the past and trying to get some sense out of the past and trying to get rid of the guilt of the past and why was I so stupid and why was I, wow. Listen, you need to draw a line. Because God is no longer in our past. He's only in the now. And if you're there, you're busy wasting your energy. You're opening up constant windows, as we've said, I bought my first computer, that it was a 285 or something. And the moment you open up a 3rd program, everything just stalls, Then you have to close down something because the CPU does not have enough energy or space to handle 3 programs. Now man is the same. I find people, they come here, they sit here, you can read the weariness and the, moegheid? The tiredness on them. Why? It's because they've got 10 open windows. Then they go and sleep for 8 hours, they wake up, they are exhausted. They are exhausted. It's not that they are not real. They're not fluffy. They are exhausted because right through their night there was 10 programs running, accusing them. They've never closed it. So you need to close the past. You need to close the chapters in your life. That chapter where you fought with that guy, close it. Get finality. Close it and put it in the past. Never go back to it. Except when the Lord maybe said you must go this. Make sure that you close it by just talking to the people, forgiving each other. Whatever means the closing, whatever the chapter is. But I am scared when I see how people live with so many open windows. When you start to talk to them, you see, oh goodness, problem there, problem there, problem there, problem there. Well, problems sometimes come to you. It's not that you create it. But listen, you must make sure that you either throw problems back that's not yours, or you need to handle it quickly and close it. I'm talking especially about relational problems. Not like, there's something missing on the account, Yeah, we can fix that. There's admin problems. But when we are in anger with each other, and we don't like each other and whatever, and close the stuff. Because it's eating up all your energy that you need to have for tomorrow. I was always living with we always had enough. And then I realized, I realized I'm spending more energy in praying for money. I could as well use that energy and get the money and fix it and solve it. It sounds strange, eh? But when I sit with people, I say, listen, this money thing is running you. You're constantly worried about the food that's going to not be on the table maybe tomorrow. Constantly this thing is haunting you. Sort it out. Get a job and sort it out and get enough money so that you never need to worry about that thing any longer. Why do you need to worry about it? Make nothing in your life a worry. Get to a point where you get things sorted out. If you can get financially free, get there. Why always, why always just hanging around? We're not making it, it's not working or whatever. Sort it out for yourself. The number one problem that's killing men is that they've got the financial problem. Why? Because we feel responsible to provide. But if that's the number one problem, why do we not solve it? Once and for all. Why do we not solve it? That's also an interesting story, but too long. Okay, do not minimize the stuff. Open it, face it, sort it out, close the window. Forgive people. Forgiveness is our best thing that we have in this world. Forgive people. Get to an end of it. Quiet all the voices in your life. The bank manager and this and that and whatever. Stop living a reactive lifestyle. Get a proactive lifestyle. Stop living from your emotions. Your emotions is a very weak foundation, but it's a very strong thing in life. There's nothing as strong as emotions. It influences people, but you can't build on it. I feel I need to do it. No, it's not about feeling. Get clarity about things. Get clarity about, do you want to be there or you do not want to be there? Get a plan and get there. And sort it out that it no longer attacks you. There are two forces in life, namely fear and love. The devil works with fear, God with love. So when fear constantly tackles you, sort it out that you can get it sort it out in your life. The biggest problem in life for people is to forgive themselves. They're fighting themselves most of the time. When I can sort of record your thoughts for the last 5 years, and if I can put it up there, with a camera or whatever, what will I see? Will I constantly see a thinking that's about sin, a thinking about inferiority, a thinking about fear or whatever, and do you have a sin consciousness? Do you have an inferiority consciousness? Do you have a poverty consciousness? What is ruling your mind? Because change starts in your mind. Become very aggressive with what's in your mind. You need to feed your mind with the right stuff. And you need to feed your mind with the right stuff about who you are. That's the most important part. And you need to get to the point where what we have there in Isaiah 65, that is saying, so that he who bless himself in the earth shall be blessed by the Lord God. Ephesians 1 verse 3 say that God has blessed every person before the foundation of the world. It's no question. But the only person that will experience the blessing of God practically on earth is him that can bless himself. Can you really say, I can look myself in the mirror and say, my friend, you are a wonderful person. You came to this world with a purpose. And it is not that you are big because you have made yourself anything. You have made yourself nothing. You are not a product of yourself. You are a product of God. But you need to look yourself in the window and say, I bless you. What is the word? I honor you, and you may have enough to live. You may prosper. You may go forward in life. You know, ek gun dit jou. What's the regte woord?
I grant it to you.
Sorry?
Grant.
I grant you to have it. Why? Because it's your birthright. You may live like that. You don't need to make an excuse for it. To be financially free is a birthright for every person. At the moment, it's a sort of a success thing that people reach 1% of society. But it's a birthright. More than 50% people live under the breadline with 20 rand a day. Don't tell me that's from God. But listen, you will not get out there before you can't say to yourself, I deserve more, because God says you deserve more. I don't like you to live there, you know, in this cold, in the water, you know, and with the wind going through it. I don't want you to live like that. Because you're the most precious person on this earth. Why must you live like that? But you think, I deserve it, you know. I deserve it. Why? Because the poverty thing is in your head. And you must get it out of your head. And that's the place you must get it out. Okay, maybe I must just close off with this last thing. Luckily, Moneywise started off as a game that we wrote. We wrote a game. I don't think you people have played it. I don't think so, most of you. But you know, I always say to people this thing. You know, what have Jesus done before the foundation of the world to exercise himself for this big task to come to the world and to have the whole burden of the sin of the world upon him, to bear it and never give in to sin. Do you know what he did? The Bible says to us, Proverbs 8, he's saying wisdom was there before the foundation of the world, and wisdom played on the front of the world, or what you call it, on the face of the world, before the Father. The wisdom played. The biggest thing that Jesus did for preparation for his redemption talk was to play. That's why you were born in a house to play, number one. Because play is the key to life. Life was designed as a game. The marriage was designed as a game. Raising children was a game. Business is supposed to be a game. Whatever you do is supposed to be a game. And the moment you've lost the spirit of the game, you've lost the game. Because then you are in pushing the thing and you know, I must make this thing work. But the moment you got the spirit of the game is driving you, is energizing you, is taking you forward. There is an enjoyment in a game. That's the biggest thing. You see people when they really play a game, they enjoy it, they laugh it, they cry as they laugh, you know. There is no sorrow, you know. We're just playing, whatever we're playing, that doesn't matter. But you can see when people enjoy it. And if you don't enjoy life like that, there's some problem. Because you need to get back there, where you say to yourself, listen, life was not designed as this heavy thing upon me. I must make enough money to reach the end of the month. I must not. Now listen, God says, listen, I came for life in abundance. I came to affirm my covenant with you that I have made to Abram, to give you wealth, to teach you how to create wealth. Deuteronomy 18 verse 18. God says, listen, and I tell you, as I live here today, at this moment, I can't tell you how wonderful, beautiful and enjoyable life is. I stand up every day, I do what I want to do. I sleep the whole day if I want to sleep. I go wherever I want, I go to wherever, you know, I do whatever I want. Life is really enjoyable. It's truly. And then you live in a house like this, you know. It just gets better and better and better. and the whole day is a game. You know, what are we going to do to enjoy this day? You know, we just do it. Why? Because you can do it. Because there's no rule from the outside, nothing that's ruling you eventually that says you cannot, you must not, you're not allowed. It's not wrong to have a work, hear me clearly. It's not wrong to have responsibilities. But listen, you can work yourself out of everything till the point that no one has got a say in your life except God and you. You can. We call it financial freedom. You're supposed to be there. You're supposed to have it as the first goal in your finances. Not the last one, the first one. Because that is the normal in life. It's not the abnormal, it's the normal. We lived like that in the Garden of Eden. There was no life like this, you know. We can go back to the Garden of Eden where everything is for free. I'll show you. You won't believe me, but I tell you, one of my big revelations was one day when I realized that there is absolutely no house that costs more even than a rand. All houses are for free, absolutely free. The day I saw that thing, I was so excited because I said, God, this is the paradise. I mean, people put prices on houses, but they are all for free. Then I realized I don't put down a rand. If I had to put down a rand in buying a house, I don't buy the house, it's too expensive. Why must I put down a rand if I can get it for free? And I've bought all my houses for free. It haven't cost me a rand. It's for free. It is really for free. But you must see it. If you don't see it, you can't go there. You need to work the thing out here and see where's the trick in the whole thing and how you can turn the thing around. And it can come to you for free. Not for free even. The thing can pay you. Never mind. Yo, I tell you, that's good news. My wife said time is over, so I must stop long time ago. Okay, but just keep that in mind. Life is really for free because it's a game. And God created the game and He gave us the game. Okay. Thank you very much.